You're listening to Open Mind Industries podcast, The Mind Unleashed. Sit back, listen, and open your mind.
Hey guys, welcome to the Mind Unleashed podcast. I'd like to give a few shout outs to our supporters. The first one is going to be Lyft, the ride sharing app. For your first $5 off your first ride with Lyft, type in TUMP for your first $5 off your first ride. Also, for any new drivers, Lyft is offering a $500 driving bonus when you sign up. Restrictions do apply. To our second supporter, it's going to be Weece Productions. That's WEECE Productions. They are a small production company here in Orlando, Florida, very budget friendly. They shoot anything from small films, weddings, any kind of crazy occasion you guys can think of. Very budget friendly, check them out. Our links will be on the Facebook page. Our third one is going to be, Daniel Weiselberg. He's a good friend of mine. He does a drone shooting. He is drone certified, guys. That's a big plus. So if you're trying to get a residential video package done, if you're trying to sell property or what have you, or a small film done or a commercial, check him out. That's Daniel Weiselberg. It's going to be at DINE Production or DINE Studios.com. I'll put the link to our Facebook page on the description. Alrighty, thanks for sticking by. And now on to the podcast. Hope you enjoy. Hey guys, welcome to the Mind Unleashed, episode 8. How you doing? How are you? So pretty much outline for this episode, I'll be talking about the Orlando Fringe that we went to previously, about a week ago. Just a lot we've been doing, so had a great time over there. Also, I'm going to get into a little bit about 3D scanning that I've been working on and how that worked out. Not so well with that. So, let me dive into a little bit of this, and hopefully you guys enjoy the episode. Alrighty, so here I go. So anyway, guys, I'm going to get into 3D scanning first, because that's a little bit just quick, simple, easy. 3D scanning didn't go too well. I ended up using the Connect version 1. I got Reconstruct Me and a few other programs to try it out. Now the biggest problem with that is computer's not fast enough to handle. I mean, it is, but it isn't. And the program was just a little bit sluggish in just capturing what I really wanted to capture. You really have to slow down the camera. So as it's like going over YouTube like this, you need to really go slow. I do have the XYZ scanner that I bought for about $120 when it was on sale. I got it when it first came out, and that's more or less for your head scans, what have you. I'll be getting more into that and really trying that out, because that really is more meant for body scans, stuff like that. Can the Connect do what I want it to do? Yes, but not for what I'm really hoping for. I was really hoping for a clay model sculpture, what have you, and then working from there. But if you really want a good detail scan, laser scanning is probably where you want to go with that. And that's just the sad part about the laser scanning, because laser scanning, I know the XYZ DaVinci All-in-One had a laser scanner. Wasn't very good, but it did capture some really good detail. If you wanted to scan something and then print it, was all-in-one inside of the all-in-one. And now DaVinci's kind of like getting away from that. So I really think that you really need to get back into that. Definitely make a laser scanner, something better, something detailed. I wouldn't mind paying about $200. Went on Amazon, didn't really find anything for laser scanning. There's a couple Indiegogo companies that are making them, but a lot of the reviews, if there's any reviews that I read, they weren't really making them so well, and the program wasn't really working up to people's standards. If you really do want a good 3D scanner, there's companies around Orlando and stuff like that. It's going to cost you a bit more money, but it's from Autodesk, and they use really good detail scanners. And but I really can't complain. I mean, something I thought it might work for my clay sculptures. I'm, like I said, more of a hands-on modeler, but that's how it's been going with that. So I want to use the Connect version 2, but I don't have the plug for it. It's about $90, and my computer's just not strong enough yet. And it's a good computer, but I need to add more into it, RAM, stuff, what have you. It's good for 3D modeling, 3D scanning, 3D modeling, and then 3D printing. I didn't mean 3D scanning. But the XYZ scanner does work on it. It's not a Pentium, it's an AMD. They need a Pentium 7 i7 My computer doesn't have that. So if anybody's planning on getting the XYZ scanner, make sure it has that until your computer can handle the freaking room. The problem with the XYZ scanner is the drivers don't like to go in. There's been a lot of complaints on Amazon about that. Some people have had some good results. They weren't expecting much, myself included. But I'm still learning it, so we'll go through that process together once I get it up and running again, and I'll work on it some more. But that has been my things with the scanner. So I ended up building a Batman fountain. You guys have probably seen that on our Instagram, openmindindustries.com. It has all of our links there. So if you guys want to check out our Facebook page, Instagram, stuff like that, feel free to do so. Our YouTube page, where this video will be uploaded every week, and when I get a chance to do it. I'm a one-man army. So do that. Check us out. Have fun with us. Call me if you need any printing stuff. I do projects for people that I'm not working on, stuff that we're working on. Anyway, it's time to get into something fun that we did last week, and it was the Orlando Fringe. Now, the Orlando Fringe is a festival where artists from all around the country and from other, countries come together, states, countries, and get together, and then they do some freaking amazing shows. It was cool, man. Like, our friends were doing it this year, Ross Paget and then Logan Donahue. So we were already determined to go and to see their shows. That we've heard nothing but good things. Logan, I've seen his show before. Ross, I work with him, and haven't really seen too many of his shows, but they were freaking outstanding. So we decided, all right, so we'll go see. A friend of ours was doing a show called The Spielers. That was our first show for the night. We ended up getting there a little bit early because parking usually at Fringe, if you're from the Orlando area, does suck ass. It's freaking it's just parking is horrible. So this year we knew, okay, I had to do the pin thing. You had to buy the pin. You had to be in the pin. Pretty much gives you the all access pass to walk around and catch shows and stuff like that. That just says, hey, you paid to check the Fringe out. I like a lot of vendors, stuff like that. But our first night there really was, we were looking forward to it. We walked around, met a lot of people that we worked with and stuff like that. It was cool. We saw the ribbon cutting and stuff like that. But dude, there were no food vendors that night, man. That was just really freaking horrible. And my girlfriend and I were just like, well, what do we do? Are they gonna open up? Or are they just, getting me ready for the weekend? Granted, it was it a Friday night? It was either a Thursday night or a Friday night. Thursday night we went, and like the food vendors were there, but nobody was open, dude. It was like the beer tent was the only thing open, and we weren't craving that. And I think that was the only complaint we really had with Fringe, because all the artists, like when they came walking up with us, were like, hey, is anything open? We're like, no, there's nothing open, sadly. And we ended up going and getting a lift because we didn't want to leave the car. We left the car in the parking lot because we're like, what, screw it. If somebody's going to probably take our spot. So we ended up taking a lift, and like who got it we had was pretty cool. He took us up to Benares, and it was right by the Florida hospital there. And we gave some food, and then we were like, okay, we really glad we got something to eat. We had like 30 minutes to the night. This is our first showing. And the first showing that we did go see, which I got to pick out, I can't remember the full name of it. It's Wickedest Tales of All. I forgot the first name of the company that does it. But if you guys type in Wickedest Tales of All, it should pop up. I can't, so sorry, I can't remember the name. What it was a group of guys and gals that did an amazing show from Edgar Allan Poe, sorry. Really, really good. And he would go through, they would go through some really quick stories, just very, very, steampunky, really cool. Apparently they've been doing it for a while. They're now doing it in Orlando now. I think last week there was our second showing. They're doing a couple more shows in the Orlando area. They were phenomenal. The show was about 45 minutes to 50 minutes long. Really good. The puppeteering was really good. I enjoyed it. And then we had about 45 minutes from that show to hit over to the next show. So we saw Ross as we were walking out. We gave him a hug and wished him good luck on the show because he had a show that night for Vincent. And then we ended up going to Spielers. Now, Spielers was a show about, if you work in the theme park industry, was about Poseidon's Fury, pretty much. And pretty much what they do is they played this guy named Taylor. Now, they're all Taylors. If anybody has been over to Universal Orlando, check Poseidon Fury out. They're just making fun of the theme park industry, It's like, okay, I gotta get on the tour to, go to the Poseidon thing. And it was just goofy, messed up. One of my girlfriend's friends was actually in it, and she knew somebody else that was in it, so we ended up seeing it. It was a good sized crowd that night. It was a decent sized crowd for them. It was just low budget spaghetti mess, but it was so good, so much fun. had a great time with it. I enjoyed it, man, because if you didn't understand the insider jokes of it, so be it. But, man, everybody was giggling, having a good time, and they were just making fun of the theme park industry like you couldn't believe it. It was so good. So much fun. Like, me and my girlfriend got all the jokes from it because we're like, damn, that does really happen with us. I gave the show a high rating. I liked it. Definitely, for me, it was definitely a fun show. I would definitely see it again with more bigger crowd, but we really made that room rock a little bit because we were giggling and laughing, and the one girl actually did snort from one of the lines, so it really made the actors kind of snort too, and they really had it just really cheesy done, but really good. And that was the end of our night there, and our biggest only complaint was just like there was no food for our first night. Like that's everybody's complaint was we sat down and we actually had our rest of our meal outside, and all the performers from Canada and stuff like that stopped and were like, hey, where'd you get your food at? We're like, hey, we went to Panera's. And I'm like, I know, it's first night, there's no food. Like all the performers were hungry, we were hungry, guests were hungry. Well, it was at a super packed night, but the we were planning on seeing Logan's show. It was called Unbelievable, Logan Donahue. So we're going to check out his show next. Now, we had to plan all these because our work schedule was horrific and shit like that. But after checking that out, we're like, okay, cool. You know, we'll do Logan's show and then we can head home and then we can come back. So we weren't planning on doing another show. But throughout that week, my girlfriend ended up working for the Mad Cow Theater a few months prior, and she did a play called 1776, which is about the Declaration of Independence being signed by an all-woman cast. It was really well done, really put together, and she was one of the stagehands on that show, so she was pretty much the main stagehand washer, behind-the-scenes person on that one. So, anyway, one of our friends called her from that and said, hey man, you guys doing the Orlando Fringe, they're giving tickets away for Family Feud, but you need to sign up. Like, the first 5 people that go on in Facebook and say, hey, I want a ticket, you might get a ticket. So my girlfriend was the first one. I got a text right after her, and she's like, you need to go on Facebook right now. Here's the link. I clicked it, and I saw her what she did. So it was the first 5 people got a ticket. And so I was like, you know what, I don't know if I have to answer a question or what have you. So I put, please and kindly, and sure enough, I got an email back maybe about 30 minutes later saying, hey, you got a ticket also. So we ended up getting a friend of ours a ticket. She wasn't able to attend the show, but anyway, so we had another show we needed to attend. And then Logan's show, luckily, was a bit after. So we were able to stop out and actually have food. We were to see Logan on that day. So we were like, you know what? We're waiting for Christine to show up. Christine wasn't able to show. Unfortunately, she had makeup she had to do for Universal. So we're like, fuck it, man. We'll get some food. We were hoping she'd make it, but unfortunately, it was just rough for her to make it over there. Just scheduling for her. But anyway, so we had another ticket, and we got to go over there, and we weren't expecting anything. We were like, oh my god, we got another ticket, show to do. We saw Logan. Logan popped his head up inside the beer tent and was shaking people's hands and seeing friends he hasn't seen. And I got a few photos of him. I'll post those on our Instagram of our experience. It's been a little bit podcasting and stuff like that. But yeah, so saw Logan, stuff like that. We had a really cool. Luckily, the food trucks were open that day. All of them were pretty much open. We grabbed some. We had a pizza, margarita, and then we grabbed some barbecue. It was really good. So we're like, okay, we have to make the show for Family Feud. So we ended up going into the venue and over at the Shakespeare, or not the Shakespeare, the art museum, which was what that theater was. We checked it out, and we had no idea what was going on. So we walked in, we saw a few of our friends from Universal over there, and went in thinking nothing of it. And she was like, hey, let's get front row. So I'm thinking nothing of it. So we went to the front row, and we sat down, and I was excited for the show. We thought nothing of it, and so the guy comes out and introduces himself, and they introduced the cast. All these performers were doing Fringe shows. So we had the one did the dramas, and you had the other people, the comedians, and they all pretty much. He chose the one girl in the third row, and she lifted her hand up, and she said, "I'm me," and they picked her. And Dana already had her hand up, and they ended up picking her, which was completely at random. We weren't even expecting it. She's freaking out. She's all excited. So she got to get up. And, you're not allowed to yell at the crowd, but, man, some of the questions that they had for Family Feud were insane. What's the first thing you smell at Fringe? And, a few people said this and that. So, anyway, Dana ended up winning on her side. Now, that was freaking awesome. Okay, so she got a little small package, stuff like that. But for the bonus round, we weren't expecting this. Apparently, she was going to win if they got everything correctly. She'd get da-da-da, and they announced that package, and then she would get the person that lost, who didn't get their package, combined. So she ended up winning 2 packages if the bonus round was completed. So Dana decided, you said it on stage. She goes, well, I want the girls to, I want to pick the ladies to do it. So she had the Cold Hearts, who I'll talk about in a minute, who are a band. Their show was pretty good. And then she had Beth. Crap, I can't remember her name. Beth was doing the commencement. And then she had Valerie Davis, who we ended up meeting. We were playing the Pink Hulk, who was a breast cancer survivor, what have you. And it was really freaking neat. Let me just get Beth's name, so I'm not going to kill her. I'm not going to butcher the name, unfortunately. It's going to kill me if I don't say it properly. Did I delete it? I think I did. Darn it. Anyway, I'll grab it in a minute or two, but my bad about that. So anyway, she chose the ladies, and Beth's like, I don't need my tickets. I've already, because Dana would win her tickets to for her shows too. And so anyway, so Dana chose the girl. So Valerie Davis, she went down Valerie was dressed up in like a little tiara and stuff like that. It was really cool. And they had 20 seconds, and she started going through her answers. Boom. And by the time Valerie Davis was already done, it was already we were already up there in points. I think it was 158 points we already had. So we only needed a few more. So it was close. Beth goes walking out, and they go, what's the thing you smell in the air and Fringe? And she goes, being a producer and doing a lot of shows. She's like, pot. It was the first one. It was pretty funny. It was like, I think it was like 10 said that. In the end, all we needed was 11 points. We had 2 more to go. Boom. I think Beth said 1, and it popped up. Bam. Fucking 211 points is what we needed, and we got it. And then when nudity was another one, it was 11, and so we already hit like a 222, so we already maxed out. So it was freaky. We weren't expecting to win at all. It was just crazy. Dana really needed to win because she had a rough year. It was a good time, man. We met so many good performers. We met the Cold Hearts. We met people. I got to go see the Bow and Arrow because they seemed really cool. So needless to say, it was an awesome night. Dana was freaking out. She had her bag with her, and she's squeaking like a kid. So we ended up getting free tickets to go see some of the more shows. So our Fringe is really cool because we got to see a lot more things we weren't planning on seeing. And we'll meet a lot more performers, stuff like that, what have you. But yeah, man, they were great. So next up was Logan's show. We saw Logan's show, Unbelievable. And we told Logan all about what was going on after the show. And I work with Logan personally, so it was pretty cool to see him and do his stuff. And Dana ended up getting picked in his show because she said a really good question to Logan. And he goes, inside Logan's show, he said, what's the one thing, people say to you, and she goes, they say, that didn't happen. And Dana goes, well, that's the one thing she always, the Holocaust didn't happen. And Logan kind of pulled her, and he goes, yeah. He goes, a good question to that. And he told her a book title she needs to read or whatever, what have you. And he ended up pulling her up on the stage of fake news, real news, define the difference between that. His show was about politics and learning your facts on politics and to be an advocate. It was really, really good, and it was really well done. Logan's done some really good shows. It was good. I really enjoyed it. It was definitely worth another watch. We just didn't have time to do everything because everybody's shows are different spread throughout the week. And then I believe the next day we got to go see Valerie's show. I think Valerie's was the first show, the Pink Hulk. I ended up buying a ticket for her show. I didn't get a free ticket because Dana ended up getting because Dana, won the package, what have you. But it was to breast cancer, so I donated because my mom's a breast cancer survivor. And it was a good show. We ended up meeting her, and her show was really good. And I had to send Valerie out some tips on how to preserve her styrofoam head. I'll do that sometime this week. I think Dana's got her number, so I'll text her that. She's got some props that she's using. The styrofoam was just, deteriorating really bad. So I asked a few of my prop friends how to preserve that because I forgot. A few of them came up with some really good suggestions and that they use. And then one of them really came up with a really good idea because there's a company that makes something that protects it for that exact reason. Which, check the clock here. Right. I'm going to speed this up because I need to get in the shower and I need to get the one to work. Sadly. So anyway, we checked it with Valerie, took a photo with her and stuff like that. Valerie Davis is on Facebook. Check her out, the Pink Hulk. And then we saw the commencement, and we saw Beth's show, and we didn't know one of our friends was actually in the commencement. We work with her. She works for Universal Law, so I'm not going to say what she really does. But the commencement was about a person that walks into a school. Pretty much the mother, her son, all his life has been picked on. He's never fit in. And then, she's talking about, the drama, and then he ended up killing himself, and the reason why. So the second person was the girl. She came out and she actually went to school with this kid, and she kind of befriended him through books in the library, because she worked with the library, and kind of read. He was a smart kid. He started reading all these books, and she left like little notes to kind of figure him out. And she kind of tried to, calm him down and, break into his head a little bit. Good play. And then the mother, the person that we worked with, she was the mother of the girl that was killed. And it was a hardcore drama. I mean, the London attack just happened, stuff like that, and they spoke about that after the play. It was very well done. We saw Vincent a night prior to that, and Vincent was fucking outstanding. Ross did a phenomenal job. He played a dog with a cat as his friend, and the roommates and the boyfriend girlfriend moved in together, and it was just outstandingly good. Oh my god, it was good. It was great, man. They actually won viewer's choice, so it was pretty darn good. I enjoyed myself on that one, and I think when we got out of the commencement the next day, she was like, kind of wish we saw Ross's show again. We saw Ross before I was leaving. Dana was going to leave, and then I was going to go do Bow and Arrow and Necrophilia. And the Cold Hearts. The show's called Necrophilia. I forgot the freaking first name of it. It was Necrophilia, and the person that works on bodies ends up falling in love with her corpse. The corpse. She's working on this guy, and he's a drummer, and she's a guitar player, and there's the bassist. It was fucking outstanding. They did an amazing job. So the Cold Hearts, if you guys are listening, I tweeted you guys. I didn't have any more cash on me. I ended up having to go to the ATM, but I was like, it's good. I'm just gonna go home. If there's a way to get your music legally through SoundCloud, what have you, I'd like to get a copy of it. I did tweet you guys. I really would like to, because they had bootleg CDs, they said, but I didn't have enough cash on me to grab it. I was all out of funds. I did donate. I threw like $3 in their donation bin, and took a pin for me and Dana, a button for me and Dana. So I threw some bucks in there. Bow and Arrow was really, really good. They were amazing. They were like doing balloon tricks and just, it was a great sketch comedy. I donated to theirs too. They did a great job. It was all pretty much in the same venue, the same theater, up in the Green venue. Yeah, I think that was what it was. But yeah, both shows were freaking amazing. I saw the Bow and Arrow one first, and they, like I said, they were more or less acrobatics, and they were freaking outstanding. Some things didn't go off without a hitch. I think that was on purpose, but it was freaking brilliant. If you guys get to catch Bow and Arrow, check them out. They were amazingly good. I literally jumped out of my chair and cheered because it was a fun, goofy show. The Cold Hearts, again, amazing show with the Necrophilia. It was loud. It was amazing. Kate can actually Kate can hold a fucking note, man. She did an amazing job singing. The drummer, everybody there was great. And that was the show, guys. We won from Family Feud, and Kate actually gave me a ticket to her show because Dana couldn't make it. And Dana was like, "How was it?" I'm like, "It was fucking incredible." She's like, "Was it scary or anything?" I was like, "No, it was really. You really understand theater because me and Dana do. We're theater people." The lighting was cool. The technicians were awesome. I actually thanked the tech when I walked out because the technicians during Family Feud, like, what's the one thing and who does the tech? And they said nobody put technicians up there and all. The tech just shut the fucking lights down. It's like, fuck this, I'm walking out. It's kind of like, support your tax guys because they're the ones that run your shows. But anyway, the Cold Hearts, if you guys are listening, I'd like to get a copy of your music. I'm going to text you, tweet you again, see if I can get a copy of that. I'm willing to pay for it any way I can. So, really, really good. They did an amazing job. Bow and Arrow, amazing job. Those are my last couple shows to Fringe. So pretty much, we had a great time. I think my only fault with Fringe this year was just not having enough food. The food trucks were good. It just felt kind of not overly done. It's just like you had a lot more running space this year. And we saw A2 Milk, and I was on their Instagram, and we tried some milk from Publix and stuff like that. That was a fun place. I think the Fringe did what they could do. But yeah, the one thing, big complaint, like we said, was night one, and all the artists said the same thing. where the hell was the food? Because they were starving. And I think, and as like I said, we got back from Panera's, I ended up eating on the ramp inside the Shakespeare Theater to wait for our first show, The Wickedest Tales of All. And this actor comes by and he goes, you gotta be careful, there's a lot of starving actors around. He started giggling. I said, yeah, I know. I said, I'll feed them if they want. I asked him if he wanted a bite of my Philly cheesesteak. And he kind of laughed. But yeah, it was a great time, great Fringe. Looking forward to doing it again. And a big shout out to Vincent, Logan Donahue, Ross Paget, the Cold Hearts, Bow and Arrow, Beth. God dang it, I can't remember your last name. I don't know why. I'll give you a shout out. I'll put you guys on my Twitter or whatever. So the Commencement, Unbelievable, Vincent, Bow and Arrow, Necrophilia from the Cold Hearts, the Pink Hulk. What else did we see? I think that's about it. I know Dana wanted to see Bitch Perfect, but our schedules were so complete. The Family Feud, just incredible. Everybody there was great. So it was a fun time, and hopefully if you guys come to the Orlando area around this time of the year, you can check that out. It is raining like crazy now, but hopefully you guys enjoy yourselves. And always, guys, have a good one. I'm going to sign off because I got to get in the shower. Hopefully this wasn't rambling on too much, but definitely check out the Orlando Fringe, and I'll be tweeting some of these people out. That way you can check their shows out. Definitely check out the Cold Hearts. They were really good. If they're doing another show somewhere, definitely check them out. Bow and Arrow. Check them out. I think they said they're in the Seattle area, but their shows are outstanding. I think most of these artists should do YouTube some videos. That way they're able to get their faces out there more. Especially the Cold Hearts, man. Get some of that music out there, man. Like, dude, I mean, I'm willing to pay a few bucks to hear your stuff. Or even buy it, like, legally. I don't want to legally download it. You know, it's just, I'm not about that. I mean, I was back in the day, but now it's just like a few bucks, I wouldn't mind. Like, I don't mind putting in for donations, but yeah, definitely a lot of those guys, especially Logan. We're trying to get Logan to do a lot of his stuff on YouTube, because I think it would really fucking sell, man. And Logan, if you're listening, definitely, man, you gotta start doing that. I know it's the thing about Fringe is that you gotta go see it. You gotta go see Fringe. You won't understand it otherwise. But a lot of these artists, if you're trying to get their name out there, you really guys should do a little teaser on what it's about, or show to you just a little hint of what it is. And you guys are probably, you're oversell your damn tickets. So the Spielers, everybody, they did an amazing job. Congrats to you all. And we had a good time. Our money was really well spent this year. I mean, we only spent a few, actually about $150, $175 altogether for everything, food, tickets, what have you. But it was a great time, and looking forward to it. Alrighty, guys. Hope you had a good one. Hopefully I wasn't rambling too much. And there'll be another episode coming up this week also. It's already been recorded. Michael Pernesco, who designed our logo, is going to be joining me on that one, and I'm just editing that down a little bit. For us, we had a good time talking about video games and what we like to do and what the logo all means. So, anyway, have a good one. Have a great day. Try not to get wet. It's going to have to rain here in Florida. That's why I'm saying that. And always, guys, always keep an open mind. Have a good one.